Hi, I'm Ardi Abelio, and welcome to the Accidental Manager Checklist, where we talk about growing into leadership while unpacking what it really takes to lead, one item at a time. In 2024, tourism accounted for 8.9% of the Philippines' GDP, up from 88.7% in the previous year. That's according to the Philippine News Agency. A clear sign that travel, ladies and gentlemen, is back. And airlines play a massive role in shaping that experience. In fast-moving industries like aviation, managers aren't just handling internal teams. They're also navigating client expectations, complex systems, and service at 30,000 feet. Our guest today has experience doing exactly that. Welcome to the show, Patrice. Yes! Palakpak naman, guys. Yan. May live audience tayo dyan. So, I heard that you recently stepped into the manager role, di ba? But you said earlier, we were chatting a little bit before the show, and you were saying that you first applied as a flight attendant.
Yes.
Was this a dream from before? Why? Bakit flight attendant ang gusto mo?
So it's not really the typical childhood dream. I tried it out with encouragement from the people around me. So mostly the titas who are flight attendants
Mga
also.
tita talaga na yan.
And actually, yung daughter niya is my best friend.
Oh,
and siya
okay.
yung gusto niya talaga. She really wanted to be a flight attendant. She was telling me na, let's go and apply together. So, I pushed through with the application. Of course, getting to know the industry na you get to travel for free and all of that. So, I said, hey, let's try it out.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I was able to get in.
As a flight attendant.
Yeah.
And how long were you as a flight attendant?
So during my first application, I was for 2 years, and then during the pandemic, I got laid off. I was retrenched,
Right.
and then when the company started rehiring already, so I joined. I flew for around 1.5 years before I applied for a different role as a specialist, and then eventually as a manager now.
Okay. So you applied initially for so you got in for 2 years. In the 2 years, you were flying domestic or even international?
Even international also.
Kapag international ka na in 2 years, how long before you flew? Kasi una, di ba, normally domestic lang yan, and then they put you international. How long was the domestic routes that you were taking?
With the airline, and also with the batch that I joined, we're trained to fly the 3 aircrafts that we had at the time, and those 3 aircrafts already fly both domestic and international flights. So because you're qualified to fly on that kind of aircraft, so it could be anywhere, domestic or international combined already.
I see. So it's the aircraft pala.
Yes, for us, that's the process.
Okay, because my sister, the one I came after, she also flew the airline 24 years. She's flew 24 years. Her story is after 6 months, and then she flew international. But that was because I don't recall her saying because of the aircraft. Pero ganun pala yun ngayon. It's because if you're trained in that particular aircraft, and that aircraft flies domestic and international, you go international. Wow.
Yes, from when I joined, that's how they did it already.
Okay. So among all the international destinations that you've been to, where was your best? What was the country that you liked the most?
Honestly, it was Japan.
Japan,
I really enjoyed.
Japan
Really enjoyed
naman,
Japan.
yeah.
So even as a tourist, I keep going back now. But as a layover, I really enjoyed it. Another would be one of the farther routes that we have would be Australia, and so I really enjoy that also.
Yes. Ganda nun, Japan, di ba? It's something that you will always go back to, di ba? In fact, I think today, when you look at domestic travel compared to the international travel, you can actually have mas affordable pa ang international travel, di ba?
Yes,
and you get to go to a place that you really like, di ba? Like which part of Japan, which prefecture yata ang tawag doon, no? Which prefecture do you like in Japan?
Well, for the destination, I enjoyed Osaka.
Naku,
Yeah,
puro
pero-
mall market.
Yes.
Yun na. Okay.
So,
Osaka, you like
yeah,
Osaka.
I enjoyed
Second,
it. With Tokyo, would be
Tokyo,
fine.
of course, di ba?
Kasi everything's there.
Shibuya Crossing,
Yeah.
standing sushi.
Yes,
Naku,
yes, yes.
Wala. Well, we can go off on Japan alone.
Yes.
And then, local naman.
So local, honestly, I haven't really traveled that much around the Philippines. But recently, we did a day trip to Bacolod, and I really enjoyed that. It's so nice in Bacolod,
I'm
and
glad you did.
the food is so good also.
Talaga.
So I enjoyed it. It was a day trip. It was of course, a privilege that you don't really get to go on a day trip to
Yes.
like somewhere in Visayas. So
Right. I'm
That was
glad you
fun.
liked it. I'm from Bacolod kasi.
got it right.
Buti na lang. Kung hindi, cut na natin tong show na to. No, but yeah, Bacolod is known for that. Bacolod is known for, of course, inasal. Chicken
Yes,
inasal, di ba?
yes.
But that's all we do. And I think the reason why we have good food is because we wait a lot. Kasi sugar is the main
Yes,
produce,
yes,
di ba?
yes,
Of
yes.
Bacolod. Actually, of Negros. So, you plant for 3 months. And then you wait 9 months. So, in the 9 months, that's really all you do. Spend time with your family. Either they travel, yung mga senderos, either they travel or they spend time with their family. Ang gimmick doon, pamilya lang. And, we just cook and we have a good time. So anyway, let's not lumabas na tayo sa topic. Sarap kasi mag-travel sa totoo lang, di ba?
Yes.
Pero why did you apply for another role?
I was really looking for mainly the growth.
Okay.
And discovering some of my skills also during the pandemic. Of course, I had to take on a different role because I had to earn and make a living during
Of
the pandemic.
course.
So I took on a different role. It was completely different from what I was doing in aviation. And when I went back, I kind of missed the feeling of doing these things, like data analytics and stuff like that. It's kind of not really the usual that people don't really like numbers, but I kind of find it interesting also. So I was missing all of that. And when I saw an opportunity to apply for a different role, I just went ahead and grabbed it. And thankfully, I also was able to get in.
Yeah. So, gusto mo yung data and analytics. That's your course ba in college?
No, not really.
Oh,
I
kasi
took
parang
up
college.
psychology in
Okay.
college.
Oh.
And then, because my role, I was a social media associate, so part of it was the social media analytics and all of that. I really found it very interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, content is also very fun and creative, which was more like me. But when I got into the analytics side of it was very interesting. It was fairly new also. And making decisions based on data really piqued my interest.
That's a big thing now, di ba? Data analytics. Di ba? Sabi nga nila, data is king, di ba? Whoever holds data rules the world. Diba? Because you have so much information on your hands or on your fingertips. Di ba? Na iba nga gini-gatekeep pa yan Di ba? Data, minsan if it's precious data, they gatekeep that. No? So, when you went into this new role as a manager, and you were telling me also before the show that as a manager, you're like an ID na manager, independent IC manager.
That was
type of thing.
the specialist role,
Yeah, the
actually.
specialist role.
So, parang there were two parts to that role. So, one part is the data analytics, and another is more on facilitation training. Yeah, so, conducting trainings also.
Yeah.
So, combining all of that, parang with all of the skills that I had before, it just blended together in one role. Sabi ko, this is a great opportunity. And then, now, as a manager, so of course the data is a lot more complex.
Yes.
Because the scope is a little bit bigger also compared to what I was handling as a specialist.
Okay. So now your role, your current role, deals with what? In layman's
Mostly,
terms, ano yung ginagawa ng role mo?
mostly the disruptions. Layman's terms, when there are delays in operations or cancellations, the main goal is to make everything as efficient and seamless for our customers. So even though they encounter these hiccups, let's say in their travel experience, we want to really be there to make sure that they're okay and that we get to recover them eventually.
Right. That's a tough job. No? What is the most challenging of the of all the tickets? Parang ticket yan di ba? They escalate a ticket to you or
Yes, it is similar to that. Although there's a different team that handles that.
Okay.
So with us, it's really the operations.
Yes.
So just to give you an idea, when we do our duty in operations, there's a manager who stays in the what we call a network control center.
Okay.
So all of the operations from everyone from different teams that works with the operations stay in this it's like an auditorium, and then we just work together when it comes to making sure everything's okay with the operations. With the flights and the
It's
passengers.
like a command center.
It's like a command center. And then there's another manager also in the airport.
Yeah.
So when there are instances wherein there's let's say a major disruption, it's a really long delay or it was a long delay and then the flight got canceled. So there's a manager there just to make sure that the customers get to talk to someone, and there's a guiding body also for our agents, our airport ground handlers.
Right. And that's not you. You're not the one in the airport, no?
It shifts.
You've done that?
Yeah. So sometimes we're
You've
in the
talked
airport.
to customers?
Yeah.
To passengers?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What is the worst?
Well, actually, as a flight attendant, you get to have those interactions already. Also,
You're flight
it's just that
attendant.
it's at a different setting. So in the cabin and in the airport.
Yeah.
At the airport, probably one of my most that's not really recent, but one of the major disruptions we encountered was last year. That was the last time I was there. I wasn't a manager yet then, but it was Typhoon Karina, if you can still remember. So a lot of flights were really affected by the typhoon. And our team, of course, everyone's all hands on deck. So even managers from different teams and even employees from different departments, they volunteer to go to the airport and really assist everyone as much as they can. Because the lines get long and the manpower can't really accommodate everyone as fast as we hope to, accommodate them. So, from what I remember, I just shared this in training earlier. It starts with one passenger with one concern, and then while you're talking to them later on, there's a huddle already, like 6 more people waiting for you to talk to them with different concerns, and not everything can really be resolved by myself. I have to refer them to someone else. And as much as I want to, of course, I want you to go, but it's typhoon. So for disruptions with, let's say, a typhoon, so it's force majeure. So it's really something that's outside of our control. So it's a little bit more tricky when it comes to the recovery. And when it comes to handling force majeure situations or disruptions.
Right. And kasi when you think about the Philippines, we have a lot of storms. Right? That's why we go through the alphabet. I mean, if at some point in my lifetime, we actually went back to letter A, B, C, D. Ganun karami, di ba? So in situations like this, of course, you know already, di ba? Naka-alert na kayong lahat sa mga ganyan, di ba? Because together with the storms comes power outage, comes all of these things, di ba? So those are very stressful situations, stressful times, di ba? And as a manager, you also have to work with other managers, di ba?
Yes.
How are you able to manage the work with other managers who are also in charge of other parts of the disruption, di ba? Kasi one is the airport, the passengers. The other one naman is the airplane. The crew. Di ba?
Yes,
Marami yan eh. Di ba? So, how do you work all of that out working with different managers?
So, I mentioned the command center earlier, or what we call the network control center. So all of us are there to coordinate with one another, just to make sure that no one misses out on anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of the details are shared there, and we also get to share or brainstorm together, like how else can we resolve the concern as fast as possible and as in a shorter amount of time, I
Yeah.
guess also,
Right.
and with the least amount of hassle for our customers. So everyone's there, and we all share the information that we have
Right.
at the same time. So it's a
Yeah.
very collaborative environment also.
So all of that is the rosy type. You know, all that you're making kwento is the nice. Nice to hear. Wala bang nagfe-flare up dyan ng mga tempers amongst you, the command center people, the managers there? Wala bang no one loses it and says, kasi stressful time na yun eh. And then, meron ba? Number one.
I believe yes. But so far, because I just joined the
Okay.
team,
Bata
so
pa
far
kasi.
wala pa. And maybe,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Let's pray na wala.
But there have been times wherein, syempre, the tension rises.
Yes.
And then there are expectations also from different teams with different functions. So, sometimes, syempre, conflict happens
Yeah.
or nagka-clash
Yeah.
at times. But overall, I believe nare-resolve naman through communication, proper
Yeah.
communication with one
Yeah.
another, and just being clear with the overall objective of everything. Kumbaga, it's all of us working together, not against each other.
Yeah.
And we just want to make everything as seamless as possible. Not just for the external customers, the passengers, but also for the team, the team as a whole.
Yeah. So, Patrice is a new manager, as in 1 month ba?
Yes.
1 month pa lang, di ba?
Yes,
So,
yes.
in the 30 days that you've been a manager, newly promoted manager, what were some of the highs and what are some of the lows in this 30 days?
In this 30 days, it's really hard to tell because it's still the transition
I
time
see.
for me. But really being able to learn so much from my colleagues because I was already, of course, part of this team, but with a different role when I was a specialist. So I got to see the managers, my teammates, in action, but not really working with them. So I got to learn a lot of different strategies and getting to know each other's strengths also and weaknesses. So that's one of my main highlights. It's really
Yeah.
getting to see how all of them shine in their role.
Yeah.
The lows could also be, well, recently there was a typhoon,
Yes.
so there are a lot
Oo.
of there are a lot of cancellations, a lot
Right,
of
that's
disruptions, and since we're just I'm just new, I am still adjusting and all of that stuff. Sometimes the pressure kind of gets
Yeah.
to you,
Yeah.
and you really start to wonder, am I being effective with what I'm doing, or am I contributing to the team, or am I being a burden because ang dami na nga nangyayari and then I have to take care of this new manager pa. So sometimes that kicks in also, because I work with another manager, of course. So sometimes that kind of thought kicks in.
Yeah.
So that's one of my lows, I guess,
Yeah.
in the transition period.
In any disruption in the aviation, most especially when it affects your company, what's the priority?
The priority, I would say, is our passengers, our
Safety.
customers, their safety and their comfort. That's the main priority.
Yeah. So, intindihin natin, guys, ha? Di ba? Huwag rin complain ng complain, di ba? Kasi, no, seriously, there are times that when you listen, parang, seryoso, they're actually looking after our safety. Di ba? Yung bakit makabalik ang eroplano? Pa-landing na tayo. There were stories like that, di ba?
Yes.
Twice, di ba? Twice.
Yes.
Susubukan mag-landing and then they can't land, so they have to go back. Di ba? They can't land in Manila, so they ended up landing in Clark.
Yes.
Di ba? So people are obviously frustrated and all, but many times we forget that it's the safety of the passengers. That's at the heart, di ba, of the company,
Yes,
the
yes.
aviation. So any habits that you had prior to getting into this role, di ba? Kasi we all work on habits, di ba? James Clear, Atomic Habits, di ba? Yung things that help you become a better manager. Meron ka bang habit na naidala? Kasi previously, you were also telling me that prior to this, you were in ministry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you were doing what again? Sorry.
I was a campus missionary
layo nun ah.
for Schubelt, yes. I was around almost 4 years. I started right after college.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when I prayed to the Lord and had a different calling already, so that's the time I applied for the airline.
Yeah. Okay. So those are two different worlds.
Yes.
But in those two worlds that you came from and that you're in now, what are some of the habits that you acquired or that you practice that help you become an effective manager?
I would say this is one of the things I also shared to my previous manager, because there are a lot of challenges, I believe, in operations, and not all the time it's a good day, but you still have to make it a good day because you face the customers, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's really knowing who you work for. So I would always go back to that when I feel discouraged. There have been a lot of times also that I felt like giving up already, yung resign na lang ako, hindi ko na kaya, yung mga ganyan moments. I think it happens naman talaga.
Yeah.
So one of the things I shared with her, in being able to still overcome all of the challenges, is that whatever I would do, I would just do it to the best of my capabilities, even if it's difficult. And I hope that would translate into what I do. And eventually, I hopefully make an impact to the people around me.
Yeah.
So that's a habit I brought from the ministry up until now.
Yeah. If you notice, no, the way she speaks, parang you wouldn't think that she manages all of these disruptions.
Thank you.
Di ba? Kasi very soft-spoken, very tapos everything's chaotic on the outside. That you know, guys, safety first, our passengers. But it's so nice to have this conversation with you. Kasi I know people who are in that position in a company. They're really the aggressive ones, they're the assertive ones, but they're the fix-it type of guys, troubleshooters, yung mga ganon.
Yes.
But it's so nice to see a different personality in also a very quote-unquote, for lack of a better term, chaotic type of job, di ba?
Yes, it is chaotic.
Fixing disruptions kasi it's no joke. Anything can happen eh. Most especially now with technology. Di ba? With technology, dati mas okay pa mano-mano pa minsan eh, the manual stuff kasi you fix this, you're up in the air. Ngayon, technology, if something malfunctions in the plane, that's it. Di ba? Or your
in operations.
in operations. Di ba? We're so reliant on technology, no? And I'm sure your company is into that also, di ba?
Yes.
Hindi kayo magpapahuli.
Yes.
Talagang technology is at the forefront of the company, di ba? All because also the airline industry is going very high-tech na rin.
Yes.
No? So, before we ask you for your top 3 tips or checklists, no? I also asked Patrice to pick a photo for me to interpret, not to give inputs to. Okay, so this is the, oh my god, I know this. This is Patrice's photo. So if you notice, no, this is the beach, and then there's a rock formation, and then there is a tree that is grown out of the rock formation. So I asked her to pick a photo so that describes you, your personality, diba? Because that's important as a manager. Many people, before I give my I'm buying time to interpret this. No? Many people think kasi that we should be a different persona at work and a different person at home or with our friends. But truth of the matter is we are human beings. And our being is what we bring to our doing. We're not human doings. We're first human beings. And then a human doing, quote unquote, is just our role or responsibility. Diba? So, whoever we are, is what we bring to what we do. So, having had this conversation with you, and this is the photo that you chose, for me, I think that my input is you're steady in terms of you're secure and steady, knowing who you are and who you serve. Diba? Having been in ministry. And in that steadiness, if you notice this, diba? Kasi this is a rock formation eh. It's not naman unheard of, but it's uncommon to have a tree grow out of the rock formation. And out of that steadiness out of that steadiness, you have growth and you have output. You have things that have blossomed in your life and in your career. Yan ang aking input. Tama ba o hindi?
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Okay. 3 for 3, guys.
Yes.
Okay, so but why did you choose this?
Well, with the word you said pa lang na steady, no? Parang I feel that I'm a very chill type of person. Or at least I want to be. I hope I am.
No, you are.
So
Believe me.
So I'm a very chill person, and yung personality ko talaga as a person, I can also be spontaneous and all, but
Yeah.
I try not to be so rattled by everything. Parang I want to take it na relax lang
Yes.
tayo. And so at the same time, parang I long to be in this place also to like relax, calm down, and just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I picked this photo. People would say I'm pretty laid back. I do feel like I am pretty laid back. But not in a way na parang sakto lang, indecisive and all. But parang very chill
Yeah.
is how I would describe my personality.
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the rock formation and all of that, I also noticed that and parang this is very unusual, and there's even a tree. Na parang it's very unusual, and I feel like from how you interpreted it, parang you said it better. I wouldn't really be able to interpret it in that way or i-relate ko siya to myself in that way. But it's somehow like that also. Na parang even in unusual places,
Yeah.
there can be growth.
Growth. Yeah. Nice.
Blossoming.
Yes. Blossom. So, given this, on a personal note, what do you do to distress? Kasi it's a
do I
very
do?
stressful situation. I mean, the job alone. It's very stressful, I'm sure, every day when you go to work. We pray that not so many disruptions happen.
Yes.
But, and many of these are force majeure.
Recently, yes.
Di ba? Many are force majeure. So what do you do to distress?
I actually try to spend time with loved ones, with family, with friends, to feed myself with happiness and positivity also.
Yes, yes.
And I just get the fuel also from like seeing my family, my friends. But during my alone time, I just like watching movies or watching series, anime
Yes.
sometimes, just to relax also. I have been trying also to um, get back to my hobbies that I really like, such as I like drawing. I like drawing. Digital na ngayon, so I
Yes.
have the iPad. So I try to do that sometimes, but not so much
Yeah.
recently. But really hanging out, having chikahans with my friends, even my friends from the office. When we have breaks, I ask them, let's go get coffee and
Yeah.
let's catch
Right.
up. So
Right.
it's mostly that, to just let go first and
Oo.
talk about something else
Yeah.
and have fun while spending time with
Yeah.
one another.
It's interesting. I've coached many, not just executives, no, but also managers, and that's very common. Yung taking a back step from everything that's happening, and then just reconnecting back with family and friends. And it brings to mind a series that I watched. Maybe some of you have watched it. It's Live to 100. So that is a documentary of a guy who studied the concentration of centenarians. So centenarians are people who live over 100 years, di ba? And he found out, because he wanted to test what helps people, or what are the habits for people to live to 100. And so at the end of the series, it's a short series, about 8 episodes, I believe, or less. At the end of the series, he comes out and says, okay, so there's a big party for him and all, and then he says, so now these are the things that I find out. 5 things, diba? So many of that we already know, but one of the 5 is relationships, strong relationships. Not just yung, oy, kamusta? Not just a network of people, but strong, deep relationships with family and friends. Most especially with family, because that is an anchor that helps yung the 4 chemicals, di ba? Serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, dopamine, di ba? When you get those feeling of high, it actually prolongs your life. Diba? There was actually one study or one incident of this man who was diagnosed with cancer in the US. So he lived in Italy, but he came from Italy, but he lived in the US. So he was diagnosed with cancer, terminal. And he said, okay, so let me just go home and I'll die there. So he went back to Sardinia, where he came from, and he lived to 100. Because there he was walking, he was eating properly, he had his family was there and all. So it's proven that when you do things like this, diba, reconnect with your friends or spend quality time with your family, it actually not just distresses you, but it actually gives you, it extends your life, diba? It makes you live longer. No? So, maraming salamat sa ganon. So, now, what we want to do is we want to ask if there were 3 things that you want to add to our checklist for a manager, what would those 3 things be?
So I actually got this from my current boss. One of the things that really struck me with what she said for my transition period is that it's normal to make mistakes. Okay, so you don't really, of course, you have your area of expertise,
Yes.
right? That's why you became a manager. But it's okay if you don't get it right the first time.
Yeah.
And then for the next part, I guess, of the checklist is that we can learn from everything that we experience. So whether that's a success, a win, or a high or a low, everything can be a source of learning. So it could be with how you can get better at what you do or personal learning.
Yeah.
So everything is a source of growth and learning. And then for the third one, it's actually a technique that I got to learn through the years. It's very difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it's very helpful. It's being able to compartmentalize.
Nice.
Yeah, being able to compartmentalize. Because as I mentioned earlier, so sometimes you're not really on your best condition. It's not really the best day for you, but it has to be a good day because, gotta face the...
Yeah.
So learning to compartmentalize, just separating first. That I have to set this aside. It doesn't mean that you ignore it or it's not important.
Yeah.
But just separating it first so that you can focus on what you have to do now. Then later on, just get back to processing it.
Yeah. I like that. Compartmentalize. That's not talked about often as a manager. Most especially pag mga ganyan, mga crisis situation. Because sometimes you really have to compartmentalize that. Diba? Parang, whether it's a situation or a failure, diba? Learn to that's done. Diba? Failure is not a person, it's an event. Diba? So in the same manner, conflict or challenge disruption, hindi naman ako yan force majeure nga, but compartmentalize natin. Galing. Maraming salamat, Patrice. Thank you so much.
Thank you also.
Yeah, so down the road, pagka medyo ka na, so 1 month, siguro mga 2 months. Pag 2 months, wala ba? But I learned so much. Really, I really did. I really learned so much. Not just about the airlines and how all of this happens or how all of these are resolved, but even from you, that from a very calm person, diba? From a very stable person, and I guess that's what the role needs, no? Kasi kailangan mo stable Kasi kung ikaw mismo,
yes,
di ba chaotic ka, no? Ang hirap nun, di ba? So I think God has really put you in that place, in that position, for a purpose. Di ba? Kasi hindi naman, hindi naman by accident yan, di ba? You were designed that way so that you can be placed in a position where you can not just shed light for Him, but actually contribute to solving many problems, no? So maraming salamat. I learned so much. Yeah, thank you.
Same here. I learned so much also.
Thank you. And we hope to have you back, of course, no? We hope to have you back. All right. So before we wrap up, let's recap our checklist from today's conversation. Of course, with Patrice, the stable, secure Patrice. It's normal to make mistakes. Oh, yes, please. It's normal to make mistakes. Huwag po tayong matakot magkamali because that is part of the learning process, di ba? You have your area of expertise, but it's okay not to get it right the first time. Yan ang sabi ni Patrice. Tama yan. Number 2, everything is the source of learning. So, lahat, everything around us, we can learn from it. And not just from people above us, but even people below us, di ba?
Yes.
You can learn even from your irate passengers.
Yes.
May ganun palang klaseng tao. Okay. We can learn from everything we experience, whether success or failure. Mostly through failure, I think.
Yes.
Di ba? Yun yung pinaka-hard, painful lesson yun Di ba? Yung mga failures. It's painful, but, it strikes a chord in us Di ba? Compartmentalizing, I love this, number 3. Compartmentalizing, setting aside certain tasks to focus on what's more urgent at the moment, di ba? Then go back to the others again later. So, importante yan to compartmentalize. And they say that men are able to compartmentalize better than women. I don't know if that's true. Kasi mas emotional daw ang babae, mas rational daw ang mga lalaki. But I think it's a skill that you can develop. Diba? You can develop that over time. So, maraming salamat ulit, Patrice. Round of applause, guys! Come on, palakpakan natin, Patrice. Wow! Wow! Galing! I enjoyed this episode. So, management isn't just about charting flight plans for others. It's about understanding the full journey. From takeoff to touchdown, leaders set the tone for both teams and travelers. Remember, you don't need to have it all figured out, but you decide how you show up as a leader. Steady, adaptable, and ready to serve. This is the Accidental Manager Checklist, and I am RD Abelio. Guys, if this episode has helped you in terms of learning and you're looking forward to learning more about what it is to become a manager, please subscribe, like, follow, and comment what you've learned. I'll see you in the next episode.